hello. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Around the Town with Mark. We are always glad to have you tune in and visit with us. Well, here we are, the middle of summer, that time of year where everyone's looking for fun things to see and do with their family and friends. And of course, we are a water community, so we're always looking for something fun to do that has to do with being on or near the water. Well, there's two really wonderful things that you really have to experience. We want you to put it on your calendar. It's a must-do, these two things, and we're going to talk about them today. One is the Thames River Heritage Park, which is not your ordinary park, and the other one is the Thames River Water Taxi. My two guests today are going to tell us all there is to know about these two things, so allow me to introduce Amy Perry and Marian Galbraith.
Hello, Mark.
Welcome to Around the Town with Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Happy to be here.
Great. Well, I ask you to each sort of introduce yourselves and just a little bit about your connection with the water taxi and the Heritage Park. Amy?
I'm the executive director of the park. I've been with the park almost a couple years now, and I oversee a variety of aspects of the park, including the water taxi and including this collaboration that we're going to be building with a collection of historic homes.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful.
And my name is Marian Galbraith, and I am the president of the Thames River Heritage Park Foundation. And I've been with it as long as it's been around, the Thames River Heritage Park Foundation, which is 3 years old. But even before that, I was part of the steering committee with the Avery Cop House, which funded the original report, which kind of reinvigorated the Thames River Heritage Park.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Amy, for those viewers that aren't really familiar with it, can you kind of give us a general idea of what we're talking about?
Yeah. So the Thames River Heritage Park is the only heritage park in the state of Connecticut, and we consider it a park without boundaries, and it's a collection of national and historic sites that are on both sides of the Thames River that are linked by a water taxi. And so it's a way that these two communities are coming together through history and through fun.
Wonderful. Marian, the water taxi is how long has that been in service, and how does that connect these sites?
So this is our third year with the water taxi. The water taxi stops at 3 locations. It stops in Groton off of Thames Street at the Fort Street Landing. We also stop at Fort Trumbull, and we stop at the City Pier in New London. And in the future, which we can talk about later, we're going to stop at the Nautilus, which will be really great.
Wonderful.
And a key thing about the water taxi is that it's a hop-on, hop-off water taxi. So you buy a ticket, you can get on at any of those 3 landings, you can get off whenever you like at those landings, visit some of the sites, hop back on, go to another landing.
Or just take a boat ride if you want to just take a boat ride.
Just take a boat ride.
And, well, of course, not everybody has access to being on the water or being on a boat, so what a great opportunity.
A lot of people do that. For $10 for a round trip ride, that's what it costs for an adult ticket. You can get on and be on the water for an hour.
That's really
and
great.
We've kind of extended the loop that we make, so it still runs the same times. It does the full loop in an hour, but it goes farther downriver and farther upriver, so you get to see a little bit more and spend more of that hour on the water, enjoying those cool breezes in the dog days of summer.
Yeah, exactly. Now, can you bring a little bit of snacks or drinks or anything like that on
Sure.
board?
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, great.
They do sell water on board, but
okay,
yes,
great.
People can bring their snacks or take it to go to a restaurant. We have a great program that I'm sure Amy's going to tell you about, the Ride and Save, and we have partner restaurants that are working with us, and so you can use your ticket to enjoy some lunch.
Well, there's and I would assume dinner.
And dinner.
And dinner.
Yes.
Great. So this has been going on now, you said, for 3 years.
This is our third year, yep.
Third year. So tell us how it's evolved and how it's changed over the 3 years and what is new today.
So it's evolved in many aspects, and starting with just the water taxi itself, we've seen ridership grow 50% since last year. So we've seen wonderful, significant growth.
If we could, while Amy's talking, maybe we could put a picture of one of the boats up. There we go.
There it is.
Okay.
And we've also adjusted the schedule of the water taxi, so it runs on an hour loop at 20 minutes after the hour, 40 minutes after the hour, and on the hour. And in the evenings, we've listened to our customers, and we have adjusted that schedule so that after 7 o'clock, the water taxi goes back and forth between City Pier in New London and the Groton Landing, because we know that a lot of those
great.
people are going to dinner, and we would like to accommodate them.
Wonderful.
We've also extended the water taxi an extra hour in the evening for that same reason.
And so what would the hours be of the water taxi?
So on Fridays, we run from noon to 10 o'clock. On Saturdays, it's 10 to 10. And on Sundays, it's 10 to 9.
So that really is a perfect opportunity
yeah.
to go have dinner on either side of the river. And the other thing I think that's great is if you've got friends or family that want to come in from Boston or New York just for the day even, you've got the railroad station right there. And of course, the ferry terminal is there, so it's sort of a great
And a lot
hub.
of people do that. You know, I go on the boat a lot, and a lot of
Yeah.
people talk about, oh, I'm here with my brother-in-law, or I'm here with my sister-in-law, or you know, I've brought the grandchildren on. And
great.
people really like to do that, and they'll get on, they'll get off maybe in New London, and go have lunch or ice cream at Berry's, or stop in at the
Right.
gallery and get their free commemorative mug, do things like that, but then also go to Fort Griswold to tour or Fort Trumbull to tour.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, in addition to riding the taxi, are there other aspects like walking tours or student tours or things like that you have included in this?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, this year we have 4 new walking tours for Groton. We have one walking tour that's, some of it you need to be in a car, but it really covers all of our sites, all of our partner sites. But we also have walking tours of Groton Bank. We have 4 of them, and all of them include, you know, the sites that are open over there, the Submarine Veterans Memorial, the Avery Cop House, the Ebenezer Avery House, the Bill Memorial Library, the Fort Griswold. But in between, you can walk and learn about the history of the buildings that are there. You can learn about whaling history. We all think of New London as whaling city. A lot of those captains lived on the Groton side, and you can hear their stories as you walk around Groton Bank. You can learn about the Revolution. You can learn about the development of Groton Bank, or you can learn about our ties with the Navy and the defense industry.
Yep.
And the way people can do that is through our mobile app.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have a mobile app. It's a platform on a company called Izzy. So it's izzy.travel, and then you just enter Thames River Heritage Park. And all 5 of those tours, the 4 of the walking tours, and then our overview of the park, are all on them, and you can listen to them or read them as you go along.
Well, you know, what I'm hearing is, you know, we are, like Marian, all those things that you just said, that we are such a rich community. There's so many things here. We're so fortunate to have all of these aspects of the history and the military and the water and everything else. And what a great idea is how to really maximize that and get that out there for people to really enjoy.
Right, and you know, we have so many different sites, and we want to draw people to these sites. I mean, that's the reason for the water taxi, it's the reason for the Heritage Park Foundation, is to help people to understand that very rich history and what's right here in our own backyard, but accessible for so many people in day trips. One of the things we've done is we've created quests. Now, if you think of a quest as kind of a scavenger hunt, it's a way for families in particular to explore Fort Griswold, Fort Trumbull, or downtown New London. You follow a series of word clues. Mark,
Really?
you've done it, so,
Yes, that's
so you
right.
might want
I
to
worked
hop
with it.
in, but you
It
follow a
was-
series of word clues, and at the end you get a little prize, and you can enter your name for a drawing.
Yes, I think you and I helped you sort of maneuver through that, and it was so much fun. And I've never done anything like that before.
Oh.
But you know, you go from these things, and you know, it's like a scavenger hunt,
Yeah.
and you know, reminded me of as being a little kid in a way. You know, it was-
Exactly.
Great thing for
Exactly.
families to do to learn about the area.
So
yeah, it's just a wonderful thing for a way for families to communicate with each other and learn and do and experience something like that. I think it's terrific.
And we launched these quests on Connecticut Trails Day in early June, and we partnered with Sea Grant to get them done. And now that they have been created, they're up on our website. People can download the PDFs of the 3 hunts, and do them whenever they like. There's always going to be a little prize hidden
that's great.
along the way, and yeah.
And I know that you know, it's 3 years in the running, and I think you've been fortunate enough that you've haven't had to raise your fares. And it's, I mean, we don't have to get into figures, but I know it's an incredibly good bargain.
It is. So it's $10 for a round trip for an adult and $5 for kids, which is really wonderful. And that's for an hour. You can also buy an all-day pass at $15 and just keep going on and off. And you can hop on and off for the round trip. But if you want to do the round trip in the morning and see places, and then in the evening, go to dinner, you buy the all-day $15. Really very, very affordable. And the best deal, and the one I love the best, is the season pass. So for $50, you can buy a season pass, and even now, if someone were to buy that, that's 5 rides. You've made your money back, and that's so easy to do. I mean, I'm on there every weekend, and lots of people I know are. They use it just to,
That's all you have
go to events that are in the area, Sail Fest or the Connecticut Maritime Heritage Festival. There's so many ways to use it.
And what we all love is you don't have to take 95.
That's right.
You don't have to go
Get
over
on
the bridge.
Right. Especially during that construction.
Yeah, instead of worrying about, am I going to get over the bridge? I always hate doing it because, you never know, one little accident or something and you're stuck on that thing.
That's right.
So
that's right.
this
So
way-
that's a big message we put out there.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Just you get that beautiful boat ride with the breezes flowing in your hair. I think that's
great.
terrific.
Great.
And so to tell us a little bit more about how you are trying to increase your ridership and what programs do you have going forward?
Okay. So we talked a little bit about the Quest, and one new program that we have for the first time this year is our Park Ambassador Program. And through a grant through the Community Foundation, as well as some support by Dominion Energy, we have 2 students from the STEM Magnet School in New London acting as park ambassadors, riding the boats, helping people with directions or where to have lunch or something about what they may be seeing along the way on their boat. And that's a program that we're hoping to grow quite a bit.
Wonderful opportunity too. I'd love to be able to be an ambassador. It sounds really
I tell them
great.
I think it's going to be the best job they've ever had.
Yeah, boy, where was that when I was a kid or growing up? Am I too old? Probably so. And maybe we could have a picture on the screen of that shot that we have with the submarine. That's pretty good too, because we want to make mention that you're seeing New London, but we are a submarine community. That's right. Tell us a little about what we're looking at, besides the fact of the opportunity that, you could even see a submarine go by.
So this was an image that was taken last summer. We were actually at the Groton landing at that time, right? And it was literally in our face. And I would say that except for those people who live in New London and Groton, the majority of the world has never seen a submarine, and
That's
probably
right.
never will, because they really don't want you to see them, of course. They're
Yeah.
stealth. And so to see a submarine come in or go out on the Thames River is an extraordinary opportunity. And though we don't always know when they're coming and going, it's been a pretty active summer. It's been a pretty active summer. We see them quite a bit.
2 weekends ago, 2 went by. And it was, but it's just wonderful. We were leaving City Pier. We had the ambassadors on board for the first weekend, and they were really excited about it. And I said, "How many of you have seen a submarine?" Because there it is, and it was right there. It was really great. Everybody's standing up taking pictures. It's really a treat.
Yeah.
Well, I've been living in this area for a very long time, and I have a Navy family background, and I'm fortunate enough where I live that I can see the river, and I never get tired of seeing a submarine come in and out.
We stop our walk, we pull over our cars.
It means
right?
so much of we're looking at the men and women that are working so hard for us, and it's not easy being a submariner. And
This might be a good time to talk about the Nautilus Dock.
Oh,
because
please.
Right now it's happenstance that you might see a submarine, but by 2020 we will have a dock at the Nautilus.
Wonderful.
So that people who go to the Nautilus can plan their day to not only visit the museum, but then hop on board the water taxi, come down here, connect with the regular loop, and be able to go and see some other defense places, the Fort Trumbull or Fort Griswold. You know, people who are interested in that museum are very interested in our military history. Why not connect them with what else we have down here, which is really pretty rich, and see as they go by the boats being built at Electric Boat. I mean, it really is a phenomenal opportunity. So a big thank you to the Connecticut Port Authority, which gave us the grant of the funding to be able to build the Nautilus Dock. The town of Groton and the Navy are working together to make it happen. So it's really a pretty exciting opportunity for the future.
That is great. And you know, while we're mentioning that, something that popped into my head, which is important, that I think is very easy, is somebody that wants to go and park, to take advantage of the water taxi in Groton or New London. There isn't a parking problem, really, is there?
No, you can park at Fort Trumbull. You can park at you know, in the parking areas in New London. There's a small parking lot in Groton, but there's also on-street parking. And then in the future, you'll be able to park at the Nautilus. So really, there's plenty of opportunities to park. And then, you know, just leave your car behind and enjoy what the area has to offer. It's amazing how many people really do get off at each place and figure, you know, it's an hour. Once you get off at a spot, say Fort Griswold, you're going to get off at about, you know, 12:35, say. You have until 1:40 before the next boat leaves, which is plenty of time to either go down the street and get something to eat, or walk up to the fort and see the fort and come back. Walk down to the street to see the Avery Cop House and do a tour there on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know, there is time to do those things and then get back on. So people, you know, in a 4 or 5, you know, plan your day, you can see a lot in this area and just leave your car behind.
I mean, where else can you do that? Can you just park for free, walk a short distance, and you've got museums, and you've got historic sites, you've got a boat ride, you've got great restaurants. I mean, hey, it's
a destination.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah. So how do you go about, do you have like a marketing plan or social media and those things to get the word out?
Yes, we use all of the media we can. We're fortunate to have some generous media sponsors that support us, like The Day and Hall Communications, Atlantic Broadband. So we have
Thames Valley Communications.
And Thames Valley Communications, thank you. We have a TV commercial that runs on
Really?
both both sides of the river. We had a wonderful reception, I guess, reaction to our commercial that ran at the Guard Cinema Festival last winter. It ran before every movie, and so that theater was almost filled at every movie they showed. So we got a lot of exposure. We have a very active social media presence, and we're growing daily, actually.
Oh, that's wonderful.
We use print ads, we use radio, we use public relations, all of those things. And we're trying to get a broader reach because we're learning that people are coming from further away and they're hearing about us, and including we've heard some good response from our advertising on NPR this year. This is the first time we've done NPR. So, so it's, you know, the presence is growing, the awareness is growing, and we just have to keep the momentum going.
Sure. Well, that's a good time to ask. Like, how has your ridership increased over the 3 years? And
so, from 2016 to 2017, we saw a 38% increase, and from 2017 to 2018, so far to date, we've seen a 50% increase, and that is a 50% increase over all of last summer. So we're already 50% ahead.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
And how long does the season go?
September 16th is our last day of operation. So we have some nice fall days.
Oh,
I
was going to
fall
say,
days.
that's we get into some
including
beautiful
Connecticut
weather.
Maritime Heritage Festival weekend. What better opportunity to go over and see everything that's going to be happening than to get on the boat and use it as your, you know, talk about a time when you want to be able to just leave your car. There's so much going on that weekend. That's the weekend of September 7th, 8th, and 9th. You know, the Navy's going to have another destroyer down at Fort Trumbull. There's going to be a big music festival at Fort Trumbull. There's going to be, you know, the boats that you can see up at City Pier. And, you know, this is the perfect way to just like we said, park your car and enjoy everything there is to see.
Yeah, so don't take that bridge.
No, no. And last year we had both of our boats operating on the water taxi loop, if you will, all day long, all weekend at that festival.
That's good to mention. You have 2 boats.
We do.
Tell us about the boats.
So the boats are they're Navy boats. They
We've got
are
a picture of the boats, if we could.
Yeah, they are Navy Liberty boats. So these are the boats that are used when a large ship is in port and all over the world, anywhere in the world. And these are the boats that the sailors get on to go to shore. So that's why they're called Liberty boats. We got these from the Navy. Marian got these from the Navy. We have 2 of them, and they have their own history. Each has been assigned to a ship that's had a significant presence in our history throughout the world. They've been all over the world, these boats.
That's wonderful. Are they easy to maintain? I trust and captain or
I have learned. Now I have never owned a boat, but I have learned that boats are not easy to maintain, and that's so. We have to do all the things that anybody else does. Our first and foremost, concern is safety. Always safety, and these are the safest boats that you will ever find. Everyone has said that. The Coast Guard inspector, everyone. But we do have to maintain them. We make sure that they're fresh and clean for our passengers. So at the beginning of the year, they're tidied up, they're cleaned. We've had the Groton was they're named the Groton and the New London.
Oh, great! Perfect.
Because that's what we're connecting.
That's perfect.
But we've had the Groton has been painted. Both of them have been updated in terms of their awnings and things like that. So we update them. We keep them clean. We make sure that they're safe for our passengers. And as any boat owner will tell you, is that expensive? Sure. But it's been worth it for the service we've been able to provide.
And do they pretty much run rain or shine?
Yes. Thunderstorms delay us.
Sure. Obviously with the extremes not.
Yes, they rain or shine.
Yeah. And I think I heard that you had a presence in Yankee Magazine. Is that true?
We were awarded the best historical experience in New England in 2017.
Oh, that's big.
That is very big.
That's very big.
And
congratulations.
Thank you. And although we can't announce it, we have been told that we will be awarded another significant award by a very prestigious Connecticut media outlet later this summer.
Oh, gosh.
So we're very excited about that.
Oh, I'd love it to be announced on my show.
Attention. A lot of people around here, mostly know about us. I mean, we're still every once in a while surprised that people haven't heard about it, but we're getting that attention outside of this area, which is really great. It's amazing to me when I'm on the boat, and because I always say, is this your first time on the boat? Where are you from? And someone will say, I'm either from far away in Connecticut or someplace else. How'd you hear about us? Online. You're the place to go. This is what comes up first as something to do. Right. TripAdvisor, online. That's great for us.
Oh, that's wonderful. And in addition to the ambassadors, how many crew do you have on each boat?
So on each circuit, there's a captain and a mate. Okay. We work with a company called Thames River Water Taxi who operates our boats for us. Okay. Marian and I don't run the boats.
Well, I know,
we don't captain
Marian enough to know that she would like to.
Yeah. I'm happy to be a passenger.
Okay. Well, I know you love trucks.
So there are a roster of captains and mates that are scheduled every weekend through through our partners, Thames River Water Taxi.
Always 2 crew. Always a captain and a crewmate.
Okay, great. Well, we're winding down to our last 5 minutes. Is there anything that I haven't asked or that we haven't touched on that each of you would like to mention while we have some time?
One thing that I think is important to mention going forward is that the real meat of the Thames River Heritage Park is a collaboration among this collection of historic sites. And so we are in the process of building that collaboration with them to create new programming, to create events, to create an experience for when people come here. It's a more robust experience. When they get on the boat, they know the things that they're going to see. They've already learned about it a little bit, as opposed to just saying, I'm going to come and see Fort Griswold. We want people to come and know that there's a variety of things for them to see, and that the historic sites are going to be working with us to make that happen.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I just would like to point out that, as Amy said, we're trying to work in collaborations with our stakeholders, the Hempstead House, the Nathan Hale House, the Ebenezer Avery House, the Avery Kopp House. I mean, there are too many, and if I start to name them, I'll leave somebody out. But I think that the project that we did on the Groton side, Groton Bank Day, which you were an integral part of, which, was a collaboration of 8 different organizations, was a good demonstration of how when organizations, historic and cultural organizations, work together, they can draw more people to their sites. Worked, 8 different organizations, including the Thames River Heritage Park. Thanks to a grant from Electric Boat, we're able to offer free ridership. It brought more people to the events that we would normally have when we work together, and really drive that visitorship and the ridership for the water taxi. It was a great demonstration project.
And in addition to the two of you, how large a committee does it take to put all these wonderful things together?
So we have a board of directors. How many people are on our board of directors? Isn't that terrible?
Well, there's ex officios. I want to say about 22.
And then we have smaller committees. There's a committee that Amy chairs that takes care of communication. I chair the water taxi committee. There's a program committee. There's a finance committee. There's we have a business plan that Nancy Kauser from Sector is working on. So we have many different fingers and organizations. The Navy's been a great supporter. A lot of different people, major organizations and people in this area who are working together to make this Heritage Park Foundation work.
Well, I want to thank you for being my guest, but I also want to thank you both for making all this happen for the community, because it's really a great asset. And
thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, it really truly is, and it's greatly appreciated.
It's been exciting to see it grow.
Oh, well, I think that's wonderful, and so we'll be closing out the show in a minute, and I'd like to have close out on camera 3. If I could. And Brian, would you like to come on up?
Sure.
And stand back here, and we'll let you on camera as I close the show. How's that?
Sounds good.
We have a guest, one of my biggest fans, wonderful guy, and I invited him to be in the audience today. Say hello, Brian.
Hello.
Very good. And again, thank you both very much for being on the show. Thank you for being a great fan. And again, put the Heritage Park on your calendar. Bring in the family, bring in the friends, take that water taxi, have a great meal on either side, have fun. But that's a great way of really, really enjoying and taking advantage of all the wonderful things that we have to offer in our neck of the woods, if you will. And also, just thank you for tuning in for the Around the Town with Mark. And we know that we'll be seeing you again real soon. And enjoy your summer and enjoy that water taxi.